Synchro monsters are cool. They're all strong. They've all made a dent in the game. But which ones have been the best of all time? In this video, we're going to share our 10 picks for the best, most influential, most powerful Synchro monsters of Yu-Gi-Oh! Ever.
Right out the gate is Otamaya Token, or Zoken, however you guys want to pronounce it.
I always thought it was Zolkin, but I don't really know.
Actually, I just call it Otamaya, so anything after that point, I don't even care.
Annoying thing that summons dragons.
It's just free monster summon, but pretty much I have to go with that because I remember when the card was coming out, it was hyped up a lot, I think mostly because of like heretics and stuff.
Right.
And it came out and it saw literally no play. But now within like maybe the last 2 months and even moving forward from a lot of things that I've seen, Zoken or whatever isn't everything right now, and it's and understandably so. It's just a free card of just, hey, I can make this with any random monsters, especially with that Gofu card. You know, it's pretty fucking awesome.
Yeah.
But it's any random synchro monster in the same level of another monster.
And let's face it, dragon synchros are good.
And you're gonna hear about a few
typically
of
the
them.
best.
Yeah, dragon synchros level 7, level 8 are pretty much the best, and he can't be affected.
What a great segue into the next card, actually. When
What
you
you
get
got
done
for me?
talking about it, you got.
I mean, mine's pretty like that. Everybody, you guys know what Zoken does. You summon them, you set a card, you bring out a monster, you fuck shit up.
such as Crystal Wing Synchro.
Which I
Dragon.
love Crystal Wing, by the way.
It's the number 2 card on this list, and I love using it and hate facing it. I think that's how it kind of goes for all of us. This card's strong.
It's really
Like,
strong.
I mean, you know, physically, yeah, 3K, but it negates monster effects
From anywhere.
during either player's turn.
Even
It's
during damage
kind of good. And then when it negates effects, it gains attack if you negated a monster's effect, so it can get really darn big.
Right.
And it just kind of sits and causes trouble, and it's just strong. Like, Clearwing Synchro Dragon was already a pretty decent card.
Yeah, pretty good.
It kind of made its way. This card is just nutty.
This is Clearwing's big brother. This is what Clearwing hopes to aspire to be.
And it's a more worthwhile summon, I would say. Like, many decks that could maybe summon Clearwing didn't always want to.
Right.
But any deck that can summon this
Crystal
wants
are
to.
going to go into it, and they purposely made it so that Crystal Wing isn't as easy to summon. But as you see, there's always ways found to do that. Crystal Wings is really good, and let's not forget that you can't get bigger than Crystal Wing. Like, if you're level 5 or higher and you're bigger, he's automatically gonna just get bigger with you. Like,
Yeah.
so you will never be able to win the big battle. We're gonna call it that.
Yeah, no, I mean, and that's really, it's a shame, but that's how it is. Like, Dragon Synchros just in general have always been strong, but it's definitely one of the strongest.
It is.
Your pick.
All right, next on the list, I gotta go with. I gotta change pictures. Hang on.
You should go with that one that you summon in sheer newlies all the time. The really annoying one that I don't like.
Of course, we got to go with this. This is probably the card of the hour of the millennium of the format, Frame Omega.
Reprint, please, Konami.
No, not yet, Konami. I'm still having fun. But thank you, Omega. But anyway, Omega is just too good. Like, Omega's utility. First of all, if you're using Omega, you're playing a deck that's based around using its multiple effects. Omega has 3 different effects. I don't know if anybody even knows that. The fact that it's a chainable card, they can steal a card from the hand, especially when they need their combo pieces. It returns banished cards to the graveyard, so you can reuse your breakthrough skills, reuse your Mizukis, reuse your interrupted Kaiju. So just anything in the grave that you want to keep reusing is good. Plus, if it dies, it recycles itself and a free card.
Self-recycling.
Like, this card is probably
it is
it's
kind
one
of a
the
new
best.
rank 8 or level 8 staple synchro.
Yeah, it's one of the best synchros that we've had in the history of Yu-Gi-Oh.
It's so accessible, and there are a lot of decks that can draw multiples of it in a turn and just kind of hand loop you.
Yes.
I still remember when I got on DN, you know, before it died,
Mm-hmm.
and there was some random deck like that fusionist
Oh,
thing
that fusion synchro
that could make like you know like
Triple
a Trish
Omega
and like
and
triple
Trish.
Omega and just
take
rip
all
your
5
hand.
cards, and you're literally top decking.
Yeah, that happened to me, and I just sat there looking stupid. Like, I didn't know what had just happened. This card's annoying.
You lost.
And, you know, people hate Frame, so if it's used in Frames, it's good then. But the fact that any deck can just kind of make it and
It's
abuse
a
it, it's just
universal
like,
level 8.
yeah, we don't need any more cards like that,
Yes,
please,
we do.
Konami.
I'm grateful. I love synchro, so I'm very grateful for the card. But no, what you got for us next?
Mine is going to be Scrap Dragon.
Oldie but good.
Kind of the oldie but goodie, the former crown holding, you know, rank 8 staple or level 8 staple. Look what Yu-Gi-Oh's done to me. Like, these are just better, man.
He's conformed.
Anyway, yeah, Scrap Dragon, not maybe as good today, but I just feel like it has set such a legacy in terms of being an out to so many things, a really powerful monster just
Right.
in its own right. 2800 attack is good, and you know, in a lot of decks like plants and things like that, where popping your own stuff was oftentimes free.
Yeah.
It really was just quite good.
It was the card. I remember when Scrap Dragon was actually $60 at one point. Like that's how good it was.
I remember it was a big deal when it got reprinted. I remember when they finally reprinted it, and they're like, okay, you can finally get this card, because before then it was like, at the cheapest, like 20 or 30, and at the high end, $60.
$60 was a lot. You were a man if you had a play set of O2s. Like anything, like I say, anything that's a powerhouse with that high enough attack, plus being free spot removal, is just a threat in the game. And it's another universal card like Omega, so you can make it anything, and you'll always have cards to pop. So it's just too good. Not to mention, if you were playing it with scraps, if it dies, you can bring out another monster. Let's not even forget about that. It has multiple
in its own deck, it's just great.
Yeah.
Your pick.
All right, so next for me, I got to give it to another oldie, but this is just a lovely one of mine. Naturia Beast. Everybody knows that spells are prevalent in the last few formats, and there's things like anti-spell phrases that say, you have to wait a turn, and then there's things like Naturia Beast that says, who cares when your turn is, I'm just going to say no. Naturia Beast, its attack is decent, 2200 isn't bad, but it's the fact that now that you put Naturia Beast on the field, you have to make an out against Naturia Beast before you can make any other plays, because Naturia Beast is just going to say no.
And certain decks just outright couldn't do anything about it. There are recent decks, I think, like with Cleave Forts, if you activated it early against them, and the Cross, stuff like that had a lot of trouble.
The Cross, they had to they had to side things for it. They had to have some kind of way around it. Like there was just no regular orthodox way to do anything about Naturia Beast. It was a threat.
There's been things like spellbooks. There's been even decks like Heroes that had a lot of trouble dealing with it because no Miracle Fusion, no Rhoda, no E-Call.
Yeah.
Like no anything.
Unless you can make a rank 4, you could not get this card off the field, and it's just gonna beat through anything you had, because most decks that ran a lot of spells didn't run big monsters anyway.
Yeah, so. Naturia Beast, and there were a lot of decks that it was supposed to be like, oh, Earth tuner, non-tuner, but then when stuff like Blow Up Bulb came out, it just started to get where any deck could
Hat Tricker, I can just do whatever I want with this card.
So. Nat Beast was fun.
What else you got for us, man?
Let's see. I almost feel like they should just be mentioned together, Rio and Trish, right? Ice Barrier Synchros are kind of good, aren't they?
The Splash Brothers.
Yeah. I guess Brio's the stronger one. It was just more like actually silly.
Yeah.
It's still banned. The other,
So it tells you how good it is.
Trish made her way out of the abyss, but
she's seeing less use now, but she's still a well-timed Trish is still just deadly.
And at the time, in her prime, right? She was annoying.
Oh God, yes. Because back then when she first came out, there was only one card out, and so when she came out, it was like by the time you even did something to stop her, she'd already
herself. She did what she was.
She'd already did what she needed to do. And this was before Effect Banner too, so
this is like pre-Effect Banner, and she just kind of dropped and banished things, and this was in an age where getting banished stuff back wasn't really easy, and making level 9s was simple for decks like Plant Synchro,
Junk Doppel,
all those types of things. Agents,
X-Sabers, Agents,
Brio, not a lot to say. He's the reason we can't have nice things like Premature Burial and
Oh God, yes.
All those cards. He's the reason we can't have that stuff, and he'll never be back. I think.
If you have any cards in your hand, Brio is probably the best card in the world.
He made Coral Dragon a thing. He gave birth to
Coral Dragon is baby Brio. They made sure they gave it their restriction for that purpose.
Because Brio
is the man.
All right, so I think we're down to just a few more.
We're doing pretty good with that.
Got 3 more.
Oh yeah.
3 more?
So the next we have on the list, we got to give it to this, and you guys know about it. Is we're giving it to Leo, the Sacred Keeper of the Trees, the big fucking Earth Lion tree thingy. It's 3100 attack. It can't be targeted. Just a lot to do with it. There's not a lot of monsters in this format, or even the last few formats that really broke 3,000 attack threshold. Hell, even Dark Destroyer didn't really do that. So it's just the fact that it was really a threat, and
it was hard to get rid of.
And it was easy to make and hard to get rid of. Any deck could make Leo, and you made Leo, you just sat on it. Your opponent couldn't do anything. They had to find a way around it to get bigger than it or something.
Or they had the Dark Hole.
Yeah, you had to have
wasn't always available.
Yeah. And nowadays it may not be as great because of things like Cosmojo and stuff like that, Ignister, but it's the fact that it's still a 3100 beater that can't be targeted till main phase 2 of your own turn.
Yeah.
So if your opponent didn't have anything to respond with, then
it's a very strict activation window.
Yeah, very strict.
A lot of things can't actually. So there's no deep prison, no things like that.
Not even monster effects
becomes useless.
Oh, damn it! So we're still not in main phase 2, so you still can't target me. It's just
you can't lance or things like that because it's your opponent. It's my main phase 2. What's that going to do?
Right, nothing. Exactly. So that's another big card.
And it, I guess since we're talking about it, It was in another card that was in like strong contention with Star Eater for
Yes.
this list. I guess like honorable mention, I suppose.
Star Eater was
We just felt like Leo, more decks summoned it more often,
Right.
I would say. But, Star Eater in its own right was pretty good.
I mean, just Star Eater was great. Just Leo, not being like Leo set the mold for monsters that could not be targeted. So Cosmos, you have Leo to thank for that. So
Next is Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon. Newer card, but pretty good card.
Great card.
For if you're playing the Blue Eyes deck, you already know how powerful this thing is. It's anti-pendulum.
Right.
Your opponent can't summon 2 monsters at once. It can negate a graveyard
Soul
effect
Drain.
during either player's turn, and that's actually really strong against Cosmos sometimes, Burning Abyss at times.
Yeah, Burning Abyss should
all those decks. And then it has the really nifty ability to run and summon Dragon Synchros.
Anyone that was named on our list.
Yeah,
Crystal Wing.
it can, there's so many cool things you can do with it, like making, Moonlight Rose or Michael or just kind of whatever. And so it's really powerful. It's, it hasn't maybe made a legacy for itself because it's still kind of a new card. But at the same time,
it's still showing its power. It's still
pretty good. It's a strong card.
Yeah,
it's tough.
It's like a better like Zoken, personally.
In some ways, it is.
Yeah.
You get the last one.
All right, last one we got to go with. Like I said, this was a really hard list for us to make, but we got to give it to it from what's new. Scarlight, Red Dragon Archfiend. Scarlight has seen some play, but not as much recently. But at the same time, Scarlight is still just a huge threat to a lot of things. By being a 3,000 beater already and being just a universal, another level 8 Dragon Synchro monster, it also has the ability to where it can just blow up all special monsters on the field besides itself and burn you. So you got a JD effect with the monster that pretty much doesn't. It's JD.
It's a really
it's JD without the
powerful
cost. It's JD without the thousand cost and without the restriction of 4 light swarms in the graveyard. So
Funny how this list has so many level 8 Dragon Synchros. It's almost
tell you
as if
something.
they're like the best things in the game.
yeah.
So that's our list now. Like I said at the beginning of this video, there are so many cards that could have made this list. When I say there's just so many synchros. Like, I thought of like Crimson Blader. We thought of Catastor and Armades.
Another honorable mention was Dark Strike Fighter.
Dark Strike Fighter, Black Rose,
Dragon,
all these cards
rule.
that I even thought about Quasar. It's
Yeah.
niche, but there's so many synchros. And I'll just kind of take the moment to say synchros, even though I still like Xyz, synchros, they really brought this game into the whole combos, fast paced. That's when I think the game got interesting, at least to me. So there are loads of synchros. In the comments, share yours. What's your top 10 list? What was wrong with ours? We'll hear about that either way.
Yeah, it's probably true. Don't hate it.
About it. So that's the top 10 synchros of all time ever. If you liked the video, thumbs it up. We upload new videos on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So if you want new Yu-Gi-Oh!, sub to us on this website and get it. And check out this website for sponsoring us. They've got great deals on Yu-Gi-Oh! Singles and Yu-Gi-Oh! Sealed product and
supplies,
other card games.
They got articles.
Yeah, their articles are actually really cool. There aren't many sites that do articles anymore.
Right,
So.
not any good ones anyway.
So yeah, ooh, shots fired. So that's the vid. Hope you liked it. We'll catch you in the next one where we probably will talk about Xyz because the content writes itself. So
Black Power.
Yeah, hey, all right. So that's the video. We'll see you guys in the next one.
Peace.